All right, so when you first bring Loki out, the first thing you want to do is to warm him up before you start walking or training or wherever. And by that, I just want to show him that I have his food, so have his food on you. Yes. He's distracted, so I'm going to help him a little bit by running away from him. Yes. So help with a lot of movement. Don't just stand there in the beginning because he's a puppy. Yes. Because as you can tell now, I don't have to use as much movement. He knows that I have the food. Yes. And I'm just using his kibble right now. So you can get a lot of reps, use his breakfast and dinner, and just use that as his training sessions. Yes. Yes. And then when we start walking too, we're going to do a lot of luring in the beginning. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the food ready. We're going to walk with him down that way. I'm just put the food in his face. Maybe take like 5 to 10 steps. Yes. And same thing. We're going to keep moving like this to warm him up because same thing, he's a super puppy. Yes. Yes. So once we do a couple like stop and sits, then we can kind of start adding the U-turns. So all I'm going to do, I'm holding just the leash only. We're going to walk. So I'm walking. I just want to make sure he doesn't hit the end of the leash. So I'm about to U-turn right now. I'm going to turn. If he turns with me, reward. Yes. All right, I'm going to make sure he doesn't eat stuff off the ground, make sure he doesn't come up to people, and then I'm going to U-turn again here. So if he misses the U-turn, I'm going to tug a little bit, get him back, and then reward. Yes. Same thing, we're going to keep walking. No. So I'm not going to let him eat stuff off the ground, I'm just pulling him up. And say he does that again, I'm just going to U-turn. Yes. And I'm not paying him right now because I'm waiting for him to sit next to me, and I also don't want him to be facing me like head on. I want him to be standing side to side just like how I am. So I'll bring the food back out. We're going to warm up a little more. Yes. And then we're going to turn. So now I'm just going to bring the food out when I need him to stop. But I'm going to keep walking for now as long as he doesn't pull anywhere. If he pulls anywhere, that's when we're going to U-turn. So right now, leash is loose. I'm not even holding it at all. I just have the food in my hand. I'm not putting it in his face. It's up, both hands are in the air. And when I'm about to get him to stop, then that's when I'm going to put the food. So here he's pulling to the side, a little tug there. We're still moving. So don't ever focus on like how far you're going to go with him. Just make sure his walking is very clean. So I'm not worried about walking the whole plaza. I'm more worried about him walking correctly. So right now we're turning. And now we'll stop. Yes. We're walking again. And I'm just holding the leash like this because I want to show you like he's loose on the leash, but I actually wouldn't be holding it like this. So I'll show you in a little bit. So I'm putting the food back out. Yes. I would actually cut the leash in half like this and just walk like this. And I'm pulling him out from whatever he's grabbing over there. Right, so when I'm about to stop, see how he's distracted? That's okay, he's young. We're still gonna, even when he comes home to you, there's still a lot more training to do. Yes. And I'm just rewarding for eye contact. You're always gonna pay for eye contact because you're always gonna pay for their attention, so they learn to ignore everything as they get older. Yes. So that was one option on how you could hold it. You could hold it like this, or you could hold it opposite hand. Usually I like putting it behind my back like this. It's a little easier to hold food in my hand while like guiding them a little bit. So we're gonna walk. I have food in my hand. I have leash on this side, and I'm gonna just U-turn at this crosswalk here. So I'm U-turning. Yes. So we're walking again. I don't have food in my hand this time, but I'm gonna manage him with the leash still. So be ready with your hand, whether you have to pull him wherever. Depending on where he pulls, you're gonna pull the opposite direction. Then we're just gonna stop. Yes. So always think of your walk as a training walk, not just walk around the loop and we're done. It's more of getting through your food, making sure he has clean reps. Sometimes you might not go through the whole walk. Sometimes we might just be walking back and forth in a certain area. Yes. And then during your walk too, you can start doing some stays with him too. So I'm just gonna lure him into a down. Yes. And sometimes I'll just step on the leash here to make sure that he doesn't get up. Yes. For him, since he's young, I wouldn't do any crazy off-leash stuff yet. I wouldn't like walk to the end over there, but you could do like a little bit of steps, right? I could take like one step here. Okay, so he got up, he's a puppy. So we're gonna put him back down. Same thing, I'll walk away, yes, and then reward. If he pops up, I'm gonna put him back, but I'm not gonna reward for resetting him. I'm always gonna make sure that he sees me walk away first, then I'll come back and reward. So right now I'm stepping away, yes, and then come back and reward. So I'm switching it up a little bit. So he got up again. So we could help him a little bit with the leash. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of pressure here. And then yes. Yes. Break. And then now we'll walk him on the second half of the plaza and let's see how he does, because now he's had a lot of rewards. He should be a lot more warmed up. So we're just gonna walk around that way. Yes. Come. So even though I cut the leash length in half, it's still loose, right? I'm not putting pressure on it and he's not either. Just be ready, because once he starts going ahead, that's when you're gonna U-turn. So if I'm about to stop, I would switch the leash over to this side, grab some food ready, and then once I'm ready to stop, I'll lure him, yes, reward. He's a puppy still, so lots of food, lots of luring still. Don't just not have any food, because then you're gonna set him up for failure. So we're walking again. So I'm about to stop, putting my leash in my left hand, grabbing the food, putting it in his face, yes. Same thing. And right now I haven't used any verbal for his walking word yet, because it's not exactly how I want it yet. So right now it's just the silent rules of the leash, right? Like he needs to do this even if I don't say anything to him. We're gonna enforce that he's not pulling and he's not grabbing stuff off the ground. But same thing, right? I'm switching over to this side, I'm about to pull the food out. Yes. So your whole walk should look like this for now at his current stage. When he comes back home to you, this is how you should do it. So putting it back on this side, I'm walking. Right now he's walking really well, but when he comes back home to you, he's probably gonna test like his rules there, because he's very comfortable with however he was in your neighborhood, versus here he knows we've enforced all the rules and everything, right? We're not letting him pull, we're not letting him do crazy stuff. So that's his expectation here. So I'm gonna switch over to this hand. I'm about to pull my food out. Yes. And we're just gonna make our way all the way back to the car like this. So he tried to go up to a person, so I just pulled him back. Yes. Okay, and we're almost back over to the car. Yes. Yes. Cool. And then we're just going to put him back in the car.